Hello and welcome to another episode of If Not Now When. I'm Shelby Davis,
And I'm Elizabeth Stone.
and thank you for coming back to another episode. Elizabeth, how have you been? It's been a while since I last talked to you, and it's always great to see you. How are you?
I'm so good. I cannot believe that I am actually not minding being in the house.
Right. And springtime continues. We're getting some nice weather. I'm looking forward to even brighter days.
Oh, and if the wind would only die down.
Yes, and it seems like the world is coming back to normal, so to speak. So that's a very exciting thing as well.
Whatever normal is.
Yes, exactly. Whatever our new normal is.
Yeah.
This week, we have two great guests with us today, and we are talking about today's couple. We have Loretta and Dan Frederick. Welcome to If Not Now When. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great to be on.
Thank you. So let me tell you a little about Loretta and Dan before we dive into today's subject. Loretta and Dan have been married for 22 years. They have two children. In 2004, they started as Couples for Christ and later studied and earned their master's degree in Christian counseling at the Christian Bible Institute and Seminary. Today, they offer intensive workshops and work great with people and couples on their relationships. Loretta, Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background and your Christian counseling?
Yes, started as counselors in our church in 2004. Our pastor at the time, H. Grant Johnson, had been in counseling for a number of years. He and his wife, Barbara, had been married 48 years total.
Wow.
He has since passed, but we thank God for the insight and the instruction he gave us. We've been trying to work with couples ever since. So since 2004, we started then, and we started doing some workshops with groups at that particular time. God moved in a fantastic way and made some changes for people that we could not see without his help. So we've been believers ever since in this process, and we tried to make it formal by getting Christian professional counseling education to try and make sure we can reach as many people as possible.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wonderful. Do you counsel together?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Has there ever been?
Our goal is to make sure that people, get the clarity and understanding that marriage does work and that it is still a valid thing in our here and now, or here today. And that even if you have problems or struggles, they can be worked through. You shouldn't just throw in the towel just because they dropped the toothpaste.
Or don't put the lid down on the toilet.
Right.
Do you work with people who only believe in God, or do you accept everyone who?
We work with any and everyone who will hear what we have to say about how life can challenge you and how relationships are a gift. But it's tough to see through the challenges of life that this is actually a gift, and you can take this along with you no matter what challenges life throws at you.
Right. Absolutely, absolutely. What do you find are the challenges with couples? You mean you have maybe the man who doesn't want to be there? Do you ever find some of the challenges?
Absolutely. And the trend has changed. It used to be that was common. The gentleman would have some, challenges with whatever's taking place in his life, career, and all the pressures that bring into you. And it was difficult for him to kind of express his position in the relationship, how they could mesh and kind of get together on all of the challenges and things that they were facing in their situations. But now the trend is communication is a big challenge for most couples in today's new normal. With COVID bringing our reality, people are forced to be at home more often. So instead of being out at work, out at church, out at the gym, out at wherever you used to, we're forced to kind of look into each other's eyes 24/7 now. And that brought some great things. You would think it would bring people closer together, but actually the opposite has happened.
Oh, yeah.
Nowhere to escape. You don't have that I guess, release valve to get away from your spouse for, X number of hours and go do whatever it is that you like to do and decompress and then come back and kind of, deal with whatever's going on in the household. Instead, it's like a pressure cooker. The constant pressure, constant, we're here together, but the pressures don't end and the bills still come. And we still have to face everything else that's going on. And now we have to deal with each other in ways we've never had to deal with each other before.
And school the children. So
Oh, yeah, that has been really an unbelievable thing. But I agree with you. I'm exactly the opposite of what's happened with a lot of your people. This time, this year together with my husband, been the best year of our marriage.
Awesome.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
So as far, I've never been happier in my marriage.
Mhm.
That's,
Done by this.
Yeah. Did you get more couples after the pandemic or during the pandemic?
we are about
Absolutely.
3 times as busy during the pandemic than we have been ever. But I love what Elizabeth just said. I hope to hear more of that, and we hope to be the instrument that brings more of that into reality for many people.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, in your sessions, do you do virtual, in person, combination?
Combination of
Combination.
all.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So your practice is called is it Plagues of the Heart Counseling?
Correct.
And your mission, Plagues of the Heart, and your mission is to persist in providing biblical-based romantic education to maintain marital bliss. I love that. I love that. And that's been going since 2004?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So you also talk about having a balance. What does that mean to today's couple, having a balance?
Want to take this one? I think it was one of my employees workshop at work one day when I first started in IT.
Mhm.
And the question was, if you could talk to anyone, fictional or real, past, present, future, imagined or otherwise, who would it be? And if you had one question you could ask that would be the basis for the rest of your life, what would you ask? I pondered on this for a little while, and the answer to the question for me was, if I could choose anyone to talk to, I would choose to talk to Solomon. King
Mhm.
Solomon in the Bible was the wisest man that ever lived. He had more understanding and knowledge than any man who's ever lived. And my question to him would, how do you balance work, life, children, hobbies, interests, and all these other things, and not get so involved in one that you want to be great at that you neglect everything else in your life?
Mhm.
So, first, to how to get a place where there's enough harmony, not only at home, but also enough of us as individuals to invest at home, to invest at work, to invest in all these other things we drive towards, and still not be empty at the end of the day. So balance refers to how do you find this sweet spot where there is enough of you to go around, number one, and you're investing enough at home that home helps you balance everything else in your life. So balance,
without losing yourself.
yes,
Right.
and that's the
I
key.
think
Yes.
I think one of the things that happens is that a lot of people don't know that they have to put themselves first. So, like putting the mask on
Yes.
the baby, you put it on you first,
Right.
then you put it on them, because if you're not happy, you can't be, you can't be pleasant or whatever. So I'm about you being first, but not in a selfish way.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. So besides the couples counseling, what other kind of activities do you guys find yourselves doing?
We have so many. We love acting. We've
Yes, yes.
done acting and done local theater
Uh-huh.
with our daughter. We both done shows with our daughter,
Mhm.
who inspired us into acting.
Mhm.
We also sing. So we've been picking that up lately. So it's we coordinate weddings and birthday parties and bar mitzvahs. My husband actually does weddings.
Wow.
And I do the coordinating of the wedding party or the reception. So I mean, we juggle multiple hats. My daughter always says there's nothing my parents can't do.
Absolutely.
How old are your children?
25 and 20.
Oh, are they still home, or
Yes. Yes.
so you had company during the
We did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And how did you guys find your balance, your sanity, I guess you want to speak on during the mid of the pandemic?
Right. But they keep us young. I mean,
Mhm.
it's one thing they're like on your nerves all the time, but I mean they're have a good balance between the family. We talk to each other about everything, but they do. I find that they do keep us. They keep us young. You know, they keep us going. They got us on skates last week, so I mean,
Yes.
they keep us young.
That's a treasure. Yes.
Wonderful. I do see that you host couple retreats. What's that about?
So we do get the couples together, and we do like a weekend, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday kind of gathering with the couples, just to get them to understand that you have to step away from the Monday through Friday mundaneness of work and the kids and the bills and the da 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 da. You know, you have to step away from that sometimes, just to refocus on why you fell in love with each other in the first place. So
Yeah.
so we pull them away for the weekend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We give the couples tools to kind of relight or rekindle the relationship, so that when they go back home on Sunday night, it's a whole new perspective of the marriage.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's I'm a justice of the peace, and I love to say to the couple when they're getting married, uh, that this moment, this very moment when you're saying your vows, you should remember every day why you married this person. And if you remember every day why you married them, I think that's a great help.
Absolutely.
That is awesome. Yes. I couldn't
Yeah.
agree.
Just look into each other's eye and remember this moment.
Right.
Absolutely.
Especially the hard times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Foundation for everything that happens.
It's the foundation for everything.
Right. Do you find there's a difference in today's couple with us being in such a social media world versus, I guess, you would say the old-fashioned couple? Do you think there's a difference?
Huge.
Yeah.
I think that technology, although it's a good thing in many ways, can be the bane of our existence if we're not careful.
Mm-hmm.
With technology, we kind of have a simulated view of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's a simulated, connection for you to communicate with another human being. The problem, though, is if you've ever noticed on the text, you ever get a text where you go, "What in the world did they mean by that?" Because there's no inference. Like you can't tell if they're serious, if they're joking, if there's humor, if they're sad. You have no way of connecting with their emotion.
Right.
Same technology is like so connected to our society, we almost like accepted that as, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So without emotion, how do you connect with another human being? How do you get to know and to love and to be here to someone else, your closest friend, your sister, your brother, your mother, your father? If there's no emotion involved, we don't map our hearts to this.
Absolutely. Well,
No, I agree with you about the Texas. You hit that right on the head. You cannot say, oh, sarcasm. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a little sarcastic, so when I say, somebody will say, "Do you want to go to dinner?" I'll go, "No, I have better things to do." And of course, I don't mean that. If they hear me say it, they laugh like
Right.
you did. But if I put it in a text, they're like, offended.
That's it.
Right.
That's
Totally
it.
different.
There's almost no coming back from that after you send the text.
If I get my girlfriends will text me back and go, "Why? What's the matter?" or something, I'll say, "Oh, for God!" I pick up that phone. "Oh, for God's sakes!"
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
How long have we been friends?
Mm-hmm.
You should know me by now, right?
You know me by now. I got a mouth on me, but not in a mean way at all.
Awesome.
Now I'm reading your bio, and it says here that you guys met when you were 9 and 10 years old.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Tell me about that. You guys, what are you playing at the park or something?
Yeah.
No, he actually moved into the neighborhood where I was living, and they rolled through him and his brothers because they were like, "Oh, we're gonna be living over here soon," and we were like, "Okay." And I paid him no mind. I was just like, because I was playing double dutch. I was 9, he was 10, and they just kept standing around like picking with us. You know what I mean? And then they finally moved in, and we got to know each other. Our families are close. We had picnics with each other and birthday parties and all kinds. We just celebrated life together. And one day my mother said to me, she's like, "That's gonna be your husband." And I'm like, 9 years old. That is not. So I don't even know anything about love or marriage. What are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. And she just kept saying it. She was like, that's gonna be your husband someday. And then when we did finally tell her we were getting married, she said, I told you that was gonna be your
I told you so.
There it is.
Wow.
So it's interesting that we've been together like that. Like even to talk about it, it's like 9 and 10. Oh my God. But yeah. So we started out as friends. We met, we separated for a little while, and then met again in school, and separated again, and then I moved across the street from him, and we've kind of been inseparable ever since.
Yeah, that's got on your forehead going, you're missing it. I know the first time we rode our bikes over there, I don't think I spoke to her beyond the word hi for the first year that we lived there. And I just thought she was the prettiest thing I ever saw. So I never quite had the confidence or courage to kind of say anything more than that. I remember we're sitting in the front yard one night, and everybody's, walking around playing. And I just got to like this, I don't know, statuesque state. If you've ever seen, what's the movie? Night at the Museum.
Yeah.
On a rock, and she's just kind of frozen there. Yeah, that was me. I stared at her for like hours while she sat and talked to everybody else, and I just couldn't find anything to say. I couldn't take my eyes off her, but I didn't know what to say. So she thought I was strange.
Wow. And here we are today. Wow. One thing we do here at this show is we find a quote that identifies with what we're talking about this week. So the quote is, learning to accept and move through healthy conflict is an essential component of keeping passion alive long-term in partnerships. Couples who honor individuality and autonomy often experience more fulfilling, intimate connections because they are easily save space for fascinating, independent growth and robust personal adventures. What do you guys think about that? Learning to accept and move through healthy conflict is an essential component of keeping passion alive.
That's awesome.
Never spoke, honestly. But again, it's phenomenal that you have this idea that autonomy is absolutely crucial. Because remember, you fell in love with this person because they're an individual. So whatever their likes and dislikes, whatever their passion, whatever was driving them was part of the attraction. If they lose that, you kind of lose your attraction for them. So absolutely crucial.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you need a marriage life, but then you need a little bit something for yourself.
Right.
Yes.
So that you can, I mean, you're going to get pretty dull if all it is you two.
Right.
You want to be able to come home and tell a story or, have some interest.
Right.
Exactly.
Be interested.
COVID's robbed us of that for about the past year. So,
Yeah.
yes.
Absolutely. Another thing that we do here at this show is we talk about our pet peeves. We discuss them, we bring them out in the front, and how we can get over. Elizabeth, do you have a pet peeve this week?
Well, you know what? I know this is weird, but I can't understand why people are wearing their mask in the car when they're alone.
Yeah, I get
They're
it.
alone. And I'm like, the minute I get out of the store, I don't take it off till I get to the car. But when I get in the car, I'm like,
Me too. Yes, absolutely.
and I don't understand why people wear it in the car. It's not like, I shouldn't even care, but I'm like, why, how could you stand it?
Yeah. My pet peeve this week are boundary issues. People who don't understand there's a boundary line. Coworkers. There's a certain line where you have to go to, and then you're prying into personal business. It's like, if we don't have that relationship, understand your boundary, please, and wait for your chance to gain that next level of relationship in order to be the boundary expands a little more, right?
Right.
Yes.
We'll get over it. What about you guys? Do you have any pet peeves? I'm sorry, Elizabeth, go ahead.
I have a problem with that only this way. And you will remember when we first met, I must have asked you 1,000 questions. I'm so nosy.
So
But
we
we were,
connected. I think we were on the same wave that night, the same vibe. So we were
yeah,
like connecting. We were meant
I
to be.
just love to know about people. So I guess I have a million questions, but I always preface with any time that I say exactly what I just said.
Hmm.
I'm nosy, but I'm mostly really interested in your story. So
Hmm.
would you mind if I ask you 1,000 questions? And people like to talk about themselves. So
Yeah, yeah. I think there's a certain way to come about it. If you're just prying because you're nosy, or if you're prying because you're trying to get to know the person and you're
yeah,
presenting it in that kind of light, that's okay with me.
good.
Yes. What
What
about
about
you guys?
you?
Do you have a pet peeve?
My pet peeve for now is like when people are wearing their mask and it's down here.
Oh,
And
Yes.
it's like, ugh. And don't get me wrong, I get it that it falls there sometimes because mine, when you're talking sometimes and you're moving your jaw, it falls. So
Mhm.
there's nothing to do about that. But when they're walking around the store and it's sitting there and then they cough, it's like you can't
oh,
Yeah.
cough.
Oh my God.
Like, forget about it. It's like, no. Then I want to get the furthest away from that person because I'm like,
I
so,
know you can't get away quick enough, can you?
right, right.
Yes.
That's my biggest.
Sometimes I go like this. I pull the mask up, but you just don't know who you're doing that to.
Right,
Hmm. Hmm.
right.
So, you know,
So that's
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
what's your pet
For
peeve?
me, it's when people take the mask and pull it down under their chin like it's a necklace.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm like, ooh.
I
Yeah,
just want it
yeah.
as far away as I can.
Right.
So that's it for me.
Hmm.
and people try to hug you.
Hmm.
Yes.
They just want to hug me, and I'm like going, oh, and I think maybe I wasn't a big hugger to begin with,
Okay.
stunningly.
Hmm.
Right.
I didn't really realize that. And then when I did realize it, I was like, I'm not a hugger.
Yes.
It's funny when you find out things about yourself, isn't
Hmm.
it?
Yes.
It's our show goes by so fast when you have great guests and great conversations. But before we go, is there any closing tips you could say for the modern day couple? What are some tips feedback you can give to a successful relationship, to have a successful relationship for today's modern couple?
Hmm. I want to say, remember that it rains on the just and the unjust. And
Mm.
keep in mind that no matter what crazy happens in this life, beyond what we're seeing right now, you're on the same side of life's challenges if you are together.
And never stop dating. Never stop dating. It's
Hmm.
that person.
Never stop dating.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what are you guys doing next? What are some future goals for you guys?
We have an upcoming, which we're excited about,
Yes.
and we're
Hmm.
starting to put things together for. So that's one of our
Yes,
biggest things that we're
Absolutely.
really motivated and excited about to see come to pass. So
absolutely.
yes.
And if we want to learn about everything you're doing, where do we go?
Say that again.
If you want to learn about what we're doing.
Oh, yes. Visit us on Facebook. You can find us on Facebook at Plays of the Heart Ministries. We are available for any couple that's looking for just insight or even a brief conversation about what could be. In the next couple of years, we hope to start doing some things, of course, as the restrictions are lifted. So we look for people to come out and kind of be a part of everything we can do to make sure bliss is part of your life.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see all the things that you guys do.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
We're
Loretta and Dan,
oh,
yes, absolutely. Thank you for being on our show.
Thank
We
you for
hope to
having
see you again. Thank you. We hope to see you again soon. So, without further ado, I'm Shelby Davis,
and I'm Elizabeth Pestel.
and this is If It's Not Now, When, live at home. We'll see you next time. Bye bye, guys.